The air in the arena didn't just feel heavy tonight, it felt dangerous. You know that feeling, wrestling apocalypse family, that static charge in the atmosphere right before a lightning strike hits the center of the ring? We have seen wars, we have seen betrayals, and we have seen the rise of monsters. But what we just witnessed on Friday Night SmackDown wasn't just a wrestling match, it was a scheduled execution that went completely off the rails. The Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu, a man who has been portrayed as an unkillable, primal force of nature, walked into a trap set by the most cynical, bitter, and dominant version of the Scottish warrior we have ever seen. Tonight, we are breaking down the absolute destruction of Jacob Fatu at the hands of Drew McIntyre. This wasn't just an Elimination Chamber qualification match. This was Drew McIntyre sending a message to the Bloodline, to the front office, and to every single person who thought the new generation was ready to take his spot. The Scottish psychopath is back, and he just tore the throat out of the werewolf. Picture the scene as the blue brand kicked off. The stakes couldn't be higher. The Elimination Chamber is looming, that hollowed-out structure of rusted chain and shattered glass, and the final spot was up for grabs. On one side, you have Jacob Fatu. Since his debut, the man has been a nightmare. He's the guy who doesn't just win, he leaves scars. He's the enforcer who made the Bloodline terrifying again. And on the other side, Drew McIntyre. A man who has been cheated, bypassed, and disrespected for so long that he stopped caring about the fans and started caring only about the carnage. When the bell rang, the silence in the arena was deafening because everyone knew one of these men wasn't going to walk out under their own power. The match started not with a lock-up, but with a physical declaration of war. Fatu, with that wild, predatory look in his eyes, lunged forward, but McIntyre didn't flinch. He met that Samoan strength with a Glasgow kiss that sounded like a car crash echoing through the rafters. You could see the sweat and the spit fly into the front row. The commentary team of Michael Cole and Wade Barrett were losing their minds. Barrett was shouting about the sheer Scottish grit, while Cole was wondering if Fatu had finally met his match in a man who simply refuses to feel pain. But it was what happened 10 minutes and that changed everything. Fatu had McIntyre reeling after a thunderous springboard moonsault, a 280-pound man moving like a cat, but as he went for the kill, Drew did something we haven't seen in years. He didn't just counter, he dismantled. He caught Fatu mid-air and delivered a belly-to-belly suplex across the announcer's table that didn't just break the wood, it shattered the monitors. The unseen footage from our ringside sources shows Drew leaning over a broken Jacob Fatu, whispering something into his ear. Our lip readers are telling us he said, "You're just a dog, and I'm the one who puts them down." The fan perspective in the building shifted instantly. Half the crowd was horrified, the other half was chanting CM Punk just to get under Drew's skin, but McIntyre didn't even look at them. He was focused on the hunt. He dragged Fatu back into the ring by his hair, mocking the Samoan heritage, mocking the Bloodline's "acknowledge me" gesture. This was psychological warfare. He was stripping away Fatu's aura of invincibility, layer by layer, in front of millions of viewers on the Netflix era of SmackDown. Backstage, our insiders are reporting that the Bloodline Solo Sikoa and the Tongans were being physically held back by a small army of security. They wanted to intervene, they wanted to save their brother, but Nick Aldis had issued a zero-tolerance policy. If the Bloodline interfered, Fatu would be banned from the blue brand. Drew knew this. He had played the politics perfectly. He had Jacob Fatu isolated, alone, and for the first time in his career, the werewolf looked human. He looked scared. The pacing of the final 5 minutes was a masterpiece of brutality. Every time Fatu tried to find that Samoan fire, every time he tried to rally with those clubbing forearms, Drew was there with a stiff chop or a vertical suplex that rattled the ringside barricades. Then came the climax. Drew stood in the corner, counting down. 3, 2, 1. But he didn't go for the Claymore. Not yet. He wanted to humiliate him. He picked Fatu up for a future shock DDT, but held him there, letting the blood rush to Fatu's head, staring directly into the hard cam. He then dropped him, but instead of pinning him, he dragged him to the corner and delivered a Claymore kick so violent that Fatu's headband flew 5 rows back. The referee counted 1, 2, 3. It was over. Drew McIntyre had qualified for the Elimination Chamber. But he wasn't done. He grabbed a steel chair, and for a second, the world thought we were seeing a repeat of the chair shots that ended careers in the 90s. He didn't hit him, he sat on the chair, over Fatu's unconscious body, and pulled out his phone to take a picture. The ultimate disrespect. The ultimate troll move. He posted it before he even left the ring with the caption, "Apex Predator? I only see a rug." The consequences of this match are massive. Jacob Fatu's momentum has been hit by a freight train. The Bloodline's aura has a massive crack in it. And Drew McIntyre? He heads into the chamber with a level of momentum that makes him the odds-on favorite to main event WrestleMania. He isn't just a wrestler anymore, he's a force of nature that has learned how to use the system to destroy his enemies. He's the smartest man in the room and the most dangerous man in the ring. The humor in Drew's post-match interview was dripping with a dark, Scottish wit. When asked if he felt bad for the beating he gave Fatu, he simply looked at the reporter and said, "I've had harder fights in a Glasgow pub on a Tuesday night. Tell Solo to send me someone who actually bites, because this one just barked." The disrespect is off the charts, and the fans are eating it up. We are seeing the birth of the McIntyre era, and it is built on the bones of everyone who stood in his way. Think about the stakes for the Elimination Chamber now. You have Drew, a man with nothing to lose and everything to gain, locked in a cage with 5 other superstars. After what he did to Fatu, a man who is built like a tank, what is he going to do to the smaller guys? What is he going to do to the technicians? He has proven that he can outpower the powerhouses and outthink the strategists. He is the ultimate end boss of the WWE right now. As we wrap up this breakdown, we have to ask, is Jacob Fatu ever going to be the same? You don't just get over a beating like that. You don't just bounce back from being humiliated in a qualification match. The werewolf has been declawed, and the Scottish warrior is sharpening his blade for the chamber. This was a cinematic masterpiece of storytelling, a masterclass in how to build a monster by having him destroy another monster. What did you think of Drew's performance? Was it a fair fight, or did he go too far with the post-match antics? Do you think the Bloodline is going to retaliate before the chamber, or is Solo Sikoa too afraid of what Drew might do next? Sound off in the comments below, because we are reading every single one of your theories tonight. This is the most exciting time to be a wrestling fan, and the apocalypse is only just beginning. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the destruction of Jacob Fatu, do us a massive favor and smash that like button. It helps us keep the lights on and the truth flowing. Subscribe to Wrestling Apocalypse and hit that notification bell so you never miss a breaking report. We've got our eyes on the training camps and our ears in the locker rooms. Would you like me to do a full power rankings of the Elimination Chamber participants after tonight's results? Let us know. Until next time, stay loud, stay wild, and keep your eyes on the Scottish Warrior. He's coming for the gold, and he doesn't care who he has to kill to get it. We'll see you in the next one.